Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be speaking to us about transformative leadership and strategic planning. And this is really important because there are some times when a leader comes into the fore and everything seems good, everything seems like they're moving forward. And then somebody else comes and it's the opposite, right? So, what is that thing about transformative leadership and planning strategically that is very, very important? That's what our next speaker is going to be speaking to us about. And our next speaker is the founder of Bliss Executives, a management consultancy dedicated to addressing the business challenges of small enterprises in Africa. He has demonstrated a deep commitment to fostering entrepreneurial growth. From 2015 to 2018, he has served as the support coordinator for Startup Incubator in Gambia, where he played a pivotal role in nurturing emerging businesses. Currently, he serves as the managing director of Chapman Express Financial Services and is also a member of the National Intellectual Property Council of the Gambia. His leadership extends to his role as a board director at the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and he is a fellow at the Chartered Institute of Management and Leadership. His contributions to leadership and development have earned him recognition as a Young Leader of the Year by the West Africa Leadership and Empowerment Center. He is also a Mandela Washington Fellow, having been trained in leadership in business at the University of Notre Dame and undergone a professional development experience at the Penn Center for Innovation at the University of Pennsylvania. He has been recognized as an outstanding leader and awarded as the Leader of the Year in 2023 by the West African Leadership and Empowerment Center, and also named as the most influential global leader of the year in 2023 and included amongst the 100 most influential young Africans in 2024 by the Pan-African Leadership Foundation. Please welcome the founder of Bliss Executives. He's joining us from the Gambia, David Jeng. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, sir. You have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Zainab. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Thank you for that introduction. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. As Zainab introduced me, so the time is short, so I'll just go straight to the point. Transformational leadership has been something that has widely been, spoken about, and it's a methodology that a lot of global leaders have used, especially entrepreneurs. It basically looks at, as leaders, the ability to inspire people to do what is best for the benefit of the whole group. For leaders, basically, if they want to transform, they have to look beyond, who they are, beyond what they want, but what is the interest of the greater good of the company and the establishment. And in most cases, basically, they do it in a way that is very motivative and in a very passionate way, where they will use their charisma as leaders to help and work with people to achieve the greater good and the goals of the company that goes beyond their self-interest. And transformational leadership, basically, they are the leaders that get most followers. They get followed by people, and they have people's buy-in in a very voluntary manner. People willingly submit to their buy-in because they create that common vision that is shared between them amongst all the leaders that they have and all the employees or people they work with. And you realize that because of that, they're highly respected, and they always ensure that they're charismatic in the way they do business, and they always use that and motivate and use that energy in their staff. So you realize that most of them wonder why people follow them a lot, but because the way they use their charisma in ensuring that they achieve what they want, not for themselves, but for the company. So you realize that effectively, if you want to be a transformational leader, this helps you in terms of getting much more in terms of performance that exceeds the organizational goals and aspiration. So this is what they do to their businesses, because they understand that their businesses, they cannot run it all. They have big visions, and they know that some of them, even whilst they're sleeping, their businesses has to run, and they are running. So they create leaders who can even do better than what they do. So basically, if you look at their characteristics, they possess a lot of idealized influence, and this helps them to create a lot of role models within themselves. And these role models helps them to drive the vision across not only, one country, but multiple countries, or one location and multiple location. So they realize that they need to create that trust and respect amongst their peers, amongst their colleagues, amongst their partners, in order to create a good decision for the organization. One thing I can tell you, that we all know, that every transformational leader also is quite an inspirational motivator. They motivate people because they understand that they have to get people connected and committed to the vision of the organizations that they have. And because of that, they inspire a lot of managers, a lot of leaders, and encourage that spirit that they work amongst themselves, wherein they create goals that will ensure that this helps organization in terms of the results that they want from either their revenue or market growth or any other strategic decision that they want to take. And one thing that also it's clear is the intellectual stimulation, how they encourage, basically, especially in most Fortune 500 companies or global companies, how they really encourage the spirit of innovation and creativity, through which they challenge a lot of normal beliefs or views that people have, because they need to challenge the status quo to be able to create products that would transform not only their companies but the world. So they have that intellectual stimulation to promote creativity, creative thinking, problem solving, and this ensures that the organization becomes better than what they are. And individually, if you look at them as well, you see quite a bit of humility in them. Most transformational leaders I know, that you guys know, you'll see a level of humility, of them seeing themselves as an ordinary person within the company, despite their position. And in that also, they act as coaches and advisors to people they work with, to their associate, because they believe that they want to ensure they see people in themselves. So because of that, they always tend to act as coaches and mentors. And one of the people that I admire very much in terms of transformational leadership is Jeff Bezos of Amazon. And we have seen how much Bezos have been a great transformational leader by rooting a compelling vision in Amazon, not only within Amazonians, but within the world in innovation, because Bezos has transformed Amazon from a bookstore into a global, technology powerhouse. And Amazon, we all know the story of Amazon. So he has consistently articulated a very ambitious vision or ambitious goal, and he inspired his team to transcend, beyond limitation, and embrace innovation, that they have changed the way people read books, they have changed the way people buy, and many other things across different sectors. And if you look at the core of his approach, has done a lot in terms of unwavering customer obsession. If you hear Amazon, the models that they use and their strategy, it definitely embodies the customer in everything that they do. So Bezos himself as a leader, speaks a lot. If you watch him a lot, he speaks about how the company should start with the customer and work backwards. Which is a very powerful philosophy in business. You starting from your customer with what they want, and then working backwards as a company, you realize that that helps in terms of, customer satisfaction. So that's a principle that they use a lot, which helps them to, make customer satisfaction, but it becomes a guiding principle for their strategic decision. So here's one example that, also of how intellectually, he has become. Bezos, I know he doesn't speak a lot, but if you look at most of the letters that Amazon publishes every year, they publish a letter. But if you look at that letter, you realize that the intellectual simulation of Bezos and the culture he creates within the organization, which basically challenges conventional thinking, and he pursues a bold and disruptive idea in innovation, in way people do business, in way people think, and in way the company operates. And you have seen that this has, earned Amazon quite a lot of disruptive innovation, like the Amazon Web Services, the Kindle, the Amazon Alexa also, which I believe most people use. It looks like your Wi-Fi name or password has changed. I'm sorry, my Alexa. I mentioned Amazon Alexa, and my Alexa just was making some noise. So sorry about that. But that shows you the beauty of technology and what they can do. So he also sets an exceptional high standard. you know he expects a lot excellence in what he does. He's a man of great integrity, great. He loves excellence. And there's a saying from Aristotle that it's a quote from Aristotle which says, we are what we do repeatedly. Therefore, excellent is not an incident, but it's a habit. So he developed that culture of excellence in everything that they do, or they promote, or initiatives that they have, which empowers the teams to take risk, to learn from their failure, and continuously improve everything that they do as a company. He also motivates his employees by ensuring that organizational challenges, and this is one powerful tool that he used. He ensures that Amazon missions, Amazon's organizational and operational challenges are seen as a heroic mission. People who undergo the difficult tasks in Amazon, they see it as this is an heroic mission that we have to take to ensure that we bring solutions. And making everybody feel responsible for the company's success takes a great deal of ownership. And we know that taking responsibility in business is quite a powerful tool that helps everyone to be able to do what they're supposed to do, even when they are not told. And he creates that culture within Amazon. So irrespective of, he has been criticized a lot for his autocratic execution, but this has made him, in addition, also to be a very decisive person, demanding accountability for the results that they want to achieve, and creating a very much long-term value creation over short-term gain. And he has been very transformational in terms of his leadership. And another one from the other side of the world, from mainland China, which we all know about, is Jack Ma. His culture of also fostering a great deal of innovation and culture within the Alibaba, to encourage people to innovate and take risk of their own decision. And everyone know that Jack Ma's charisma being seen as a coach, as a leader in China and Asia, and helping develop businesses, Alibaba Group, across the world. And he has that ability to unify also his employees, his partners, his investors, under a common goal, and a collective effort of shared vision that is created among bringing in the value of bringing customers first. And he has spoke about it also globally. But you have seen how much he's been a valuable teacher, because he was a teacher before, obviously, but he has been a valuable teacher who encourages a great deal of persistence in advising, in ensuring that they address some of the biggest challenges that they face. So one of the things that we always keep talk about is his customer centric philosophy in which he uses in addressing challenges. But one thing that was clear about Ma is his ability to go beyond his comfort zone. And I think this is what all entrepreneurs should definitely adopt. You have to have that ability to go beyond your comfort zone, because that is where growth is. If you want to grow beyond doing business across Africa, one thing is, you have to go beyond your comfort zone. So I was given two topics, and I know I have 20 minutes, so I'll just run through the next one, which talks about strategic leadership. And I think as leaders and organization, strategy is one thing that really helps us, because it's the process that helps us, to set a clear direction of the business, to ensure that key objectives that are ensure we want to achieve. It outlines how we want to do it, the tools we want to use. It helps us in achieving our goals, especially in most challenging environments. So I know most of the time when we talk about strategic leadership, we just think about setting goal, but it's not just about setting goal. It's also about having that roadmap that helps you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, whether it is from accessing finance, whether it is from breaking market barriers, regulatory complexity, and infrastructural gaps. One way you can do it is strategic leadership. And for organizations that are set up as a sole proprietor, one of the things you should consider is, having a corporate board, because this is where strategy happens, because you bring a lot of expertise within your board who looks from company from the outside, and they're able to shape the strategic direction of the company. And I think this is one way in which you can definitely move and have that long-term thinking for your company. That's why boards, they provide that support and that rigorous oversight within the company. So this also ensures that there's accountability, because strategy comes with accountability also. In addition, it's also emphasizing modern business in terms of balancing traditional profits and also societal expectations. A lot of ways we do business has changed everywhere around the world. People don't just do business, but from a strategic perspective, they want to make profit, but they also want to consider the environment, the society, and the governance. And once they do that, because they want to have that long-term vision of doing things. And another aspect of strategic planning is it has to integrate diversity and inclusion in terms of growth, in terms of the decisions that you make, reflecting how the company wants to proceed, and other also international issues that are being discussed, ranging from inequality, demographic dividend, youth and women, climate change, and many other issues that are affecting us as a continent, and also as a global village. So effective strategic leadership requires that boards or G suite, which is senior management, they ensure that they make decisions that will stand the test of time. So when you make strategic decision, it has to be long term, and it has to stand the test of time, but also balancing innovation, prudent risk management, and transparency, which is very much key in helping organizations achieve. So in a nutshell, I know it's almost time. So just to tell you that in a nutshell, that I've been given the most difficult task. I keep wondering, doing this work around the world, giving me 20 minutes to talk about two topics that in most cases, we take days to discuss. But for doing business in Africa, I think with your businesses now today, when you do business, you have to look at a continental view, wherein when you make decisions, you look at what is happening in South Africa, what is happening in Kenya, what is happening in Egypt, what is happening in Nigeria, in Gambia, and everywhere across the continent, because the continent is at this stage wherein we have what is called the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. When you do business or when you compete, you don't compete with Nigerians, you don't compete with Gambians, you compete with the entire continent, because the services that you offer, someone else can offer it better from another continent, from another country across the continent, and it can be sold in your country. And that's a perspective that we need to have in making strategic decisions, in leading our teams, in our corporate values. And this helps us to be able to achieve and scale our businesses beyond one country, but across the continent. Thank you very much. Looking forward to connecting with you all during the Q&A, but if not, we can connect after on social media. Thank you very much, Zainab. It's a pleasure being here.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. David Jeng. Really, really packed, very soulful and insightful session. We have a question for Mr. David Jeng. Ibrahim is asking, how can startups leverage emerging technologies that are currently impacting different industries, like AI, blockchain? How can startups take advantage of such emerging technologies?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. I mean, emerging technologies are here and they're here to stay. So you gotta jump on it, or someone who jumps on it will take over your business and your customers. And I think what we should ensure we do is we look at what is the best fit for us. Right now, there are lots of platforms that you can use, but which one is the best fit for you? But one thing that you should never compromise is your creativity and your innovation, because that also beats these technologies. But what you should always do is use it, but use it in a creative way, wherein you use AI, but let your creativity lead, in the direction of how you use these technologies. If not, you go for answers with these technologies. If you do that, everyone can go for the same. So you realize that AI works based on input and output. So the input you put in, a lot of other people are putting the same input. So you're getting the output. So how you have to use it is you have to use it in a creative way so that it gives you an output that is unique to you and to your business. But one thing you should not compromise as entrepreneurs is your creativity, but use AI, use it wisely. I hope this answers your question. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We have one more question for you. Muhammad is asking, how do you inspire a risk-averse team to step outside their comfort zones without resistance?
I mean, I mean, going beyond your comfort zone, takes risk. And I think one thing we have to understand is that human beings have potential, and our potential, our hidden potential, can only be explored beyond our comfort zone. So we have to create an environment where it is okay for people to fail, where it's okay for people to try, and let's normalize failure. Let's normalize trial. When people fail, let's encourage them, because failure is the first step to success. So when people fail, we encourage them. They have that ability to do more. So how we really move outside our comfort zone is by the environment that we create. We should create an environment of creativity, of rewarding creativity, welcoming creativity. And once we do that, you realize that people will go beyond their comfort zone because they don't fear failure, or if they fail, they know that they have that support system within the organization that will help. But growth is beyond the comfort zone. Outside your comfort zone is where you have growth, is where you have innovation, and we should exploit, because we have hidden talents that we have to show and give to the world.